What do these things want, and why are they here?
You still don't get it, do you, boy?
They have recruited the rich and the powerful.
They're running the whole show.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you. Blinded us to the truth.
Take a look.
They are safe as long as they are not discovered.
I don't know what they are or where they came from, but we gotta stop them.
Stay away from me.
Put these on. They have us. Look at them, they're everywhere. Our owners.
We have no other choice.
I don't like this one bit. Leave it alone, man. It ain't none of my business. Ain't none of yours.
We have been lulled into a trance.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. We're in trouble. The whole world's in trouble. Control us! You're sending some kind of signals on TV sets.
I've got one that can see.
Mama don't like tattletale.
Now we start spilling some blood. Let's go!
Push the button.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick it. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 16 of 31 Days of Monsters. I am Graham Nolan, your horrible host. And day 16, that means we have just crossed over the Rubicon, if you will, the halfway mark, in this case, of our 31 Days of Monsters. And today we're going to be talking about John Carpenter's, I'd like to say, indictment of Reaganomics. They Live. It's a great, great little sci-fi film. I have a love-hate relationship with John Carpenter. The stuff that he does, I really love. But then there's the stuff that I really hate. There's no middle ground with me, with him. It's either really good or really bad. And this one's a good one. Saw this one at the theater. As a hardcore Reagan fan, I wasn't too happy with the subtext of it. But it could go another way too. It wasn't just the politics. It was, and even more so today, the story really rings true because it's about the media. It's about consumerism. It's about the truth in advertising, and all of these things that we're struggling with today are definitely front and center in this movie. So it really rings a lot more true today, I think, than it did when it came out in the early 1980s. Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestler, he was discovered by Carpenter because he was a huge wrestling fan and had seen him in WrestleMania 3, I believe. And he wanted somebody. He thought about Kurt Russell for this role at first and decided against it because like the last 4 films that he had done starred Kurt Russell, and he wanted somebody bigger and maybe more imposing. So he gave Rowdy Roddy Piper a shot at it. And, before The Rock, there was Roddy Piper. He's the first wrestler to do a major film. And he does a really, really good job. I remember thinking when I saw this thing, because I had seen him in the wrestling stuff back in the 80s. And I remember thinking, you know what, this guy is giving a really good performance. There's some spots where, he's struggling a bit, but there's some quiet scenes where he's contemplating or he's talking, where he really does an excellent, excellent job. So, hats off to him, for taking a chance. Vince McMahon of the WWE didn't want him to do it. And he said he would offer him some other kind of movie role and stuff. And he decided not to go with McMahon and to go ahead and do this with Carpenter because he said McMahon's a control freak. And it really opened up doors for him. He ended up doing more movies than John Carpenter. And Carpenter said that in an interview one time. He says, you've done more movies than I have now, which is pretty funny. This is based on a story called 8 O'Clock in the Morning by Ray Nelson. And it was originally written in 1963. So that gives you an idea of what somebody, at least, very least the author at that point, was thinking about media. I'm making an assumption here. I haven't read that story. So depending on how much he deviated in the screenplay, if the thematic aspects are the same, that Nelson was thinking about advertising and how it can be abused and misused even back then. Of course, that isn't Face in the Crowd covered that somewhat with Andy Griffith, and a great comedy called Calloway Went That Away also talks about that type of stuff too. If you haven't seen Calloway Went That Away with Howard Keel and Fred McMurray, it's a hard movie to find, but find it. It's friggin' hysterical. Love that movie. But I'm digressing here. The theme that we talked about, that Carpenter's he's kind of a hardcore leftist, but be that as it may, he's an incredible director, and I he's made some really great films. But one of the things he wanted was for Rowdy Roddy Piper to talk about the political subtext of the film, the Reaganomics aspect of it and the class divide and all that kind of stuff. And Piper, who was a Canadian citizen, was working here on a green card, didn't feel it was his place to discuss American politics. And the fact is that Piper really liked Reagan and agreed with his policies. So he didn't want to talk about that stuff during the press junkets and stuff. So I really like that about him, about Piper. Special effects in this are okay. They don't hold up. They really don't. Some of the flying things and the portal. But this is a high concept film, and I love stories where our protagonist knows something that the audience knows, but nobody else knows, and he's trying to get the word out. He's trying to tell the truth to people, and nobody will listen to him. Things like Richard Kendall in the Fugitive, or Roy Thinnis's character in The Invaders, where we know what he's saying is true, but he can't convince anybody else. There's a frustration there. And for some reason, I really, really love those kind of stories. In fact, back in the late 90s, Chuck Dixon and I created a character that we were pitching around, which was sort of based on a concept that I derived from They Lived. It was about a guy who was given this power to stop this alien invasion, and part of his power is he can see the aliens for what they are. They've infiltrated into the world, and he's on the run too, because people think he's killed people when in fact all he's done is he's vaporized these aliens and stuff. And we pitched it around in a bunch of places, and it just didn't go anywhere. But who knows? Maybe that's something I'll rework for Compass Comics, and when I decide I want to jump into some superhero type stuff. But so yeah, this is a great film, a lot of fun. A lot of people love the fight scene. I think it's too long. I thought it was too long the first time I saw it. It seemed self-indulgent. Evidently, Piper and Keith David rehearsed this fight from like a month or something like that, because except for the hitting in the face and a couple other things, the fight's pretty much real. And they really choreographed it well, and Carpenter decided just to let the whole thing roll, and it went 5 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe. It might be the longest fight scene in history, but it's too long. it just goes too long for me. You've got this great high concept plot that's moving along at a nice pace, and then you hit this thing and it comes to a screeching halt. So just from a storytelling aspect, that's I'm not big on that. All right, so that was that. I hope you guys watched this one and enjoyed it. Let's see. Let's check in with everybody and see who's here this fine Monday morning. Cigar Gangster, first one in the room. It says, good morning, everybody. Dan Genovese is here. Dr. Mask Retro. JP Roca is here. He asks what's good, and he's going to miss today's show because he's going to the gym. Okay, JP. That's a legitimate excuse. If you're going to the gym, good on you. You're excused. Just watch it later. Dr. Mask has a quote for us. Where are they from? Well, it ain't from Cleveland. Like Kick One says, good morning, Graham. Hope you are doing better. I am. I'm doing a lot better. Every day. Every day. Graham Nolan wants to know if you've backed the Ghost of Matacumba yet. I'm pretty much sure every name that I have seen so far in here has backed it. But if you're new to the show and you haven't heard of it, the link is pinned to the top. It's also in the description. Please go over there, check it out on Indiegogo. If you're here watching this, it's because you like Halloween stuff, monsters, and all that. And this is going to be a rollicking good ghost story. So go check it out, please. Hyper Kaiju is here. Dr. Mask, did I say? Yeah, I said Dr. Mask. Stippling Vaughn says, an entertaining drama free stream. Pew. Huh. What's that in reference to? I don't keep tabs on what's going on in the streaming world myself. So I don't know what's happening in that respect. But let me know. Just curious. Fearless Freep is here. Man of War 665, a neighbor of the beast, says, hail amigos. And I'm all out of gum, says Fearless Freep. Yeah, that line was ad-libbed by Piper. He had originally written it for something he was going to say during one of his wrestling bouts. And he threw that in there, and Carpenter liked it and kept it in. And Piper eventually used it in one of his wrestling bouts, too. Stippling, adding on to his other comments, save us, Graham, you are our only hope. Now I really want to know what's going on. I feel like a dunce. Rob Fellows with his quote, the world needs a wake-up call, gentlemen. We're going to phone it in. Black Ice says, I have come here to chew bubblegum and watch 31 Days of Monsters, and I'm all out of bubblegum. That one might be the win of the day, Black Ice. Thank you. Revan Saber is here. Excellent. Let's see. Pete 2E made it to the stream. Okay. Rob Fellows says you should all have a quote today. Long Island Rob Stein is here. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Graham. Any chance of a Nolan appearance at C2E2 with John and Shane? I just heard about that recently, that they were going to set up there. I don't know when that is. I'm assuming it's in probably the spring, because we're winding down con season right now with New York Comic Con ending. So, yeah, possibly. I haven't been to Chicago in a long time. Here's another great quote. I'm giving you a choice. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can. That's a good one. Yeah, Piper had said it was based on a documentary he had seen, but it turns out that the documentary he thought he had seen was a satire. It was a satirical thing, um, but it makes a great story. Only took a few decades for it to swing around. Yeah, that's what's cool about some of these forward-thinking, guys that make these movies that they don't catch on at first, and then eventually become classics. Um, Citizen Kane, pretty much tanked at the box office, and now it's heralded as the greatest film ever made, or one of the greatest films ever made. Um, Sometimes they come out strong and they can hold their position. Things like Casablanca did well at the box office and has always been relegated to high levels of quality and greatness. But his other film, The Thing, is heralded now as one of the great classics of the genre, but it tanked at the box office. Part of it is because it went up against E.T. But for whatever reason, that one really didn't catch on till later on. Chris the Actor says he's hilarious and Hell Comes to Frogtown. Yeah, that movie is so freaking over the top. That is a crazy ass movie, and just the concept of it, you're like, wait, what? Yep. Well, you heard my comments, and I agree with you. It's not important. Says, hey, yo, I'm late. Yes, but you're here. Chuck Gibson is here. Tom Fink is here. Marcus Kellogrew is here. Sorry I'm late. I was talking to work. Well, that's what the hang up button's for. You go, hey, I got 31 Days of Monsters to watch, pal. Manowar says agreed. As much as I love Carpenter, like most tribalists on either side, too much focus on a symptom and not the root cause. That's an interesting comment. Pete Tui says Carpenter's commentary on Reagan is amusing, considering the authoritarian ways of the left the last few years. Yeah. Yeah, and who's controlling all that media? The media that is lying to you and that you can no longer trust. It's them. They're doing this exactly. Meg Foster's eyes have always hypnotized me. Yeah, she has gorgeous eyes. I'd forgotten she was in here until she showed up in this movie. I was like, oh, what's her name again? Had to look her up. Tony Ellis is here. Bill Tackett. Maybe the long fight was a bit of fan service for the inevitable WWF fans coming to the movie for Piper. Yeah, I don't think that's wrong. I think it kind of read as a wrestling match. So I think you might be right, Bill. Kino Reviews is here. Hello, Kino. Hail the chat. Tim F. Hail, Brother Graham. Oh, PTP versus Malin and Davis drama. Oh, okay. Yeah, I started reading some of that stuff. Okay. Stippling says the CG drama streams against each other has gotten old, pointless. I'm here for entertainment, not purity tests and punching each other down. primarily mail-in. Yeah, we got to stop that. We got to stop that nonsense. When we start judging each other, we become no better than our enemies, and we look ridiculous fighting amongst one another. Just concentrate on your books, concentrate on your product, concentrate on your business, and leave the other stuff to the side. That's my opinion. That goes for everybody. Okay, where are we here? Rusty Baker Private Eye says, morning, Ghoul Gang. Good morning. Have you seen Pizza Medi's The Chair with Piper in it? No, I have not. Timmy Mello is here. Who else? Ronan. Oh, we got quite a crew here. While you're here, guys, remember to hit that like button, please. Bob Singleton. Morning and salutations, Graham. They Live has always been one of my faves because John Carpenter, Roddy Piper, and Keith David because of the message. Which message is that, Bob? Is it the message of Reaganomics or the message of consumerism and advertising? The consumerism advertising one is a message I can get behind there, but the Reaganomic one, not so much. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Randy. Andy Smith's core draft closes today. He's 3,223 away from 100K with the platforms that he's got the thing on. This will be Andy's first 100K project. And if you guys haven't backed that yet, please do so. Andy is a great guy. He's one of the bros, and he's working hard. And, let's all of us lift those boats up and get them over that finish line. And then you get the great Bud Root story that's going to come with it when it hits that 100K mark. I believe they're closing out on the Kings tonight. I won't be on there, obviously. I am not sure I'm going to be on the Bros tomorrow night. I just don't know if I can be up that late and keep my wits about me at the moment. But to Andy, Godspeed, my friend. Let's get you over that 100K mark. Hardy McFadden says, such a great flick. No budget like low budget. But boy, can you see where every dollar goes. Amazing, though, how much less paranoid it seems every year. That's true. Indeed, so says the eagle. I have landed. The message of wake up. All right, good one, Bob. Domi says the sad truth is that the internet has made it far too easy to attack and destroy. The world is too small now to contain the level of idiocy and corruption with everyone being dragged down. Only if you engage in it. It's simple. Turn that shit off. Don't engage in it. And focus on yourself. Focus on your goals. That's the key. Not anybody else's goals. Don't listen to naysayers. Arnold Schwarzenegger has a new book. I think it's out or it's coming out. Called what was the name of that title? Be Useful. Be useful. And it talks about that kind of stuff, motivating yourself, not listening to naysayers, focusing on your goals, your dreams, and gearing everything towards that. If you do that, you can stay above the fray and not let that kind of crap drag you down. Simple as that. Really isn't that hard. Cobra Khan, They Live has surprising current day theme about it now. Yes, it does. Ha! Yeah. Hyper Kaiju says this movie and Soylent Green just hit different nowadays. Yeah, Soylent Green's another one where, in 1973, 72, 73, when that came out, kind of a fun concept idea. But now, when Bill Gates is pushing cricket protein, all those other nuts out there, it does ring a lot truer. Dennis Shoemate is here. He likes this movie. Thank you for the healthy, productive motivation. You're welcome. You're welcome. Stay positive, my friends. Stay positive. Work hard. Focus on your goals, not other people's. And that it really is the key to any kind of success. You're going to have troubles and tribulations, and you're going to have conflicts. But if you keep that as your core, it'll get you through it every time. I know. I've been doing this for 40 years. That's how I got through all those shitty times and crappy changes in the business and stuff without it beating me down, Okay, gang. Let's see. What do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow is Diabolique, French film. I'm going to have to watch that one today. I have not seen that one yet. Oh, wait a sec. Let's break into this, interrupt this stream with a very important message from Kino Reviews with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks for the stream. Loved reading Joe Frankenstein. Can't wait for Ghosts. Well, we can break into a stream for a $4.99 super chat anytime, Kino Reviews. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support for both those projects. Really appreciate it. All right, so Diabolique tomorrow. We have our homework, my friends, and again, I think we're gonna stick to this 9 o'clock time for a bit yet, maybe through the rest of this through our season today. But it seemed to work out pretty good. We got a good crowd in here, maybe even better than the 8 o'clock crowd. So thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, you guys have a great day. Bye-bye. Wrong one. Let's try this one.